bum, bada bum bum, bum, bada bum bum, bum, bada bum bum, bum, bada bum bum,
Dice, rolls, dragons, trolls,
Dadventurous.
Welcome to Dadventurous. I'm sorry, I did that to you. Welcome back to the nonsense. Back to just you and me this week. The mom reprised her role as Calvacia last week, but your character Kea is moving on from Athon.
From the City of Flowers.
You are moving on from the boggy city, the swamp city. Good stuff. And
the guard called it the City of Flowers, but apparently
that's true. And we are excited to be back. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the show. If you want to send us some love via questions and answers and otherwise.
What?
Or reviews and stuff. We like all that stuff. Still waiting on art. I still think that would be that's like when you know you've made it.
What?
If somebody else makes art for your thing.
I suppose that's true.
And I don't mean somebody we know.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool. Anyway.
And not me or you.
Anyway, are you ready to get into the story?
Yes.
All right. Last week, you
on
Dadventurous did a two-parter with the mom, and you made your way into the city of Athon, where you helped participate in an auction with
Reginald Winston Goldsworth.
Thank you. And Reginald Winston Goldsworth liked turquoise, and he was very high-strung. And you helped Calvacia get the auction kind of set up, and you were able to go talk to him. You needed to talk to him because he was a collector, and it seemed that once upon a time, he had purchased a very, very surged artifact from Greta in Briarport. You came to ask him questions and also to keep up with Maud. She's been ahead of you. She's been evasive. You haven't been able to talk to her, and she had found out something about that trap in Retail Ruins, and she's been on the move ever since. Still haven't figured out why. And unfortunately, the Bloodhounds came to Map's Edge, stole all your friends, etc., etc. You found the general in Athon. You guys made it to the auction where you got tickets. Stuff started getting auctioned off, and then eventually, what happened? A big explosion.
And the one and only 10 foot tall, exactly, apparently.
Exactly, no inches.
10 foot tall, exactly, leader of the Bloodhounds. We're introducing Tsar Bloodhoof.
I was going to say, you're doing it very much like a wrestling announcer. In that corner, we have 10 foot tall, 700 pounds, Tsar Bloodhoof. And the crowd goes wild. Actually, the crowd
They did
angry.
go wild.
They went wild out of fear.
Yeah.
And he snagged up this cap, this baseball cap of surged item, and then he went to attack you guys with a scraper that he oddly seemed to have control over.
Via a apparently surged remote of sorts that went click, click.
Mm-hmm. And it tried to attack you, but Calvacia got an amazing spell of hypnotic pattern, I think, and basically kept my entire boss sidekick in limbo the entire fight.
Yep.
And you were able to sneakily, between Calvacia's mage hand and your arrow of shooting, keep the cap from Tsar Bloodhoof's hands. He escaped thinking he still had it, and you were able to narrowly sneak it away from him.
And we cut to a scene of Tsar Bloodhoof driving off into the distance, setting up camp, reaching into his pocket for something, and then nothing's there. So he goes, "No!"
Yeah, he shouted up to the sky. And you, I believe you said birds flew away in the background. Also, as he was escaping, though, you saw something on the ground, unfortunately. And what is it that you went and saw?
Maud's Her little phone
It was
thing.
a little device. Yeah, it was basically text messages
Um,
with Beryl.
Yeah. Maud's text messages with Beryl saying that she was trapped.
Yep, she said, Kea helped captured Maud and left the device behind to clue you that, unfortunately, it seems she might not have been there before, but she is now stuck with the Tsar Bloodhoof.
These are blood.
These are Bloodhoof. Which is unfortunate because now Maud is missing her walkie-talkie and her text message device.
I didn't know she missed her walkie-talkie.
Well, it seems like she's missing it
True.
because she hasn't used it, and the last message you got was all broken and messed up.
Shh, don't come back.
Yep.
Or whatever her voice sounded like. I actually don't really remember.
I believe out of all the voices, I'm pretty sure I decided for some reason that Maud is just my voice.
Yeah, it was just your voice.
Maud, the elf rummager, is just me. Anyway, and you and Calvacia were able to rest. You were able to, get a long rest, stay in town, kind of stock up with what you needed, fill up your moto wheeler, and I believe you
potatoes.
With potatoes and some bog bloom flowers. And then right as you were about to leave, bog bloom.
You keep saying that.
I don't know why I made these words.
Bog bloom.
Bog bloom flowers. Say that 17 times fast. And then you were turning around to say goodbye, and Mirabelle, the coffee witch, appeared right in front of you and gave you a to-go cup with a beverage in it.
Old Mirabelle, too creepy for her own good.
Yeah. And you were going to set off after Tsar Bloodhoof yet again, and Maud now too. So I will say, unless there's anything you want to do in Athon, we can assume that you're standing at the gates to the north of Athon, ready to move on your way.
Ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So, is there anything you want to do?
Nope. I think I wave goodbye to Calvacia, and
she says, "Hi, Kea." I don't know.
That is not what Mom sounds like.
Bye.
Yeah, that's more like it.
I guess you were all right.
The tone's right.
And then I'm going to do something real quick. Okay, I'm going to show you the map. So, because we haven't had you look at it in a little while. But you're in Athon, and the only road out of Athon to follow Tsar Bloodhoof goes north. And it goes towards a town called Bramblebeach, and then it goes towards a town which you were going to head to anyway.
Wonder Wharf.
Yep. And so that's the path this way. And that kind of takes you along the coastline, if that's the way you want to go. It makes the most sense. So if you want, we can assume that you are starting to head to the north. You want to stay hot on his trail, I assume.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe putting in one of those little bog bloom flowers in, too.
Sweet. So I have the moto wheeler loaded up, and we have you heading on your way to the north, which is going to take you to Bramblebeach. There's your next town. Can you go ahead and set out, like you said, you loaded up with potatoes. We're going to say that you have probably enough for about 4 days of journey worth of potatoes. But you'll have to stock potatoes.
I buckle Flibbit in.
He goes, well, thank you.
There you go.
Do you think that we'll be able to catch up with them, Kea?
Hopefully, with the help of this. I hold up another bog bloom flower.
What color is it? What does it look like?
I guess. I mean, do they have a specific?
No, there are all
graphic?
sorts of colors.
I think it's bright yellow.
Okay.
Like daffodil yellow, maybe, but fluffy like a peony.
Cool.
A yellow peony, sure.
Okay. And
but
you
on a stem.
Toss it in a blender.
Yep.
Okay. So you fire the motor wheeler up. You guys start wheeling your way forward slowly, and then you toss in the speed boost. So you start zooming along. This direction to the north, it's kind of periodic, but I think you start leaving Athon, and you notice that the bog, Bootstealer Bog, is not as prominent to the north. It was definitely more of a south and eastern side of the city, had that. As you start getting out of here and out of the way, you start zooming along to the north. And we're going to say it's going to take you about 2 to 3 days, depending on what's going on, to get to Bramble Beach. It's about the same distance as it took you to get from Map's Edge.
Okay.
But that would have been the 3 days would have been by walking,
Yeah.
by riding. With the bike, with the moto wheeler, it'll take you about a day and a half.
Oh.
And so you start zooming along. Immediately, once you get out of the bog, it starts becoming a little bit more, I want to say, tropical. Not
to the
immediately.
north?
Yeah, to the north.
Okay. Oh, I guess that makes sense if we're south of the equator.
It's fantasy. You start going north, and
Geometry.
it's just like you were in the bog, and it was that kind of like moist, kind of muggy air.
Mm-hmm.
You still have that a little bit, but it's more dry. It feels more tropical in a way.
Think
and you start passing
Florida.
Yeah, and you start passing this road, and you start getting out of the bog. You start getting into like some sporadic forests, and you come up on a river partway through.
Huh.
And you're zooming along for your first day. So can you go ahead and roll for me on the table of encounters? Pretty please.
Uh-oh.
Can you... Yeah, sorry, a D8 first.
D8?
Yep.
8.
8. Okay, stand by. Okay, an 8. You start zooming along, and you come across this river with this bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you are coming up over this bridge, you see that there is a kind of like flat concrete layer off to the side a little bit. Almost like it was the base maybe of an old house or something of that nature.
Is there anything built into it?
No, it's all you see is just flat, cracked concrete on the ground. And that's kind of what you see.
I stop the bike.
Okay.
And go.
So you just come down to a stop. Flibbit's like, what's going on, Kea? What do you see?
I point off to the concrete slab, possibly foundation, and say, I want to go check that out. Do you want
me to come, or I could just stay here? You could holler at me if anything goes wrong.
Can you unbuckle the seatbelt yourself?
I do have quite a few tentacles.
True.
So I am quite dexterous.
The grin that he gives me, I don't trust at all, but
Okay.
I think I leave him there and start sneaking towards the foundation / concrete slab of concrete.
So you start heading over that way, and pretty quickly you can see that it's pretty beat up. This concrete is old, getting that past world vibe. It looks like maybe there was a foundation for a building. You see some pipes coming up through the concrete as well, and then you see as you get a little closer and you start being able to like get up onto that pathway, you actually see like a big square hole in the ground with a cable sitting outside of it. And as you get closer, can you go ahead and make a perception check for me?
17.
17. You see that there's like a box. You know, plenty of people could stand inside the box, but there's like a box at the bottom of this hole in the ground, and there's cables coming off of it that look like maybe they once stretched up to a very, very tall section above. For the more modern perception check, it looks like the ruins of an old elevator.
Oh, I thought it was like an electrical box that like people use to like control the lights.
No, the cables look like they are for structure, for holding something, and there's a pulley system as well. The elevator is there. Kea might not know what this elevator is, but you probably saw elevator shafts in the original scrape.
In the scrape, yeah.
So you might have an idea. I'll let you decide, or you could roll for it. How about you roll a history check? See if you've listened to your studies with Gunther.
Absolutely terrible, which actually probably makes sense for Kea. A 7.
Okay. Yeah, no, not at all. You don't know what it is, but you notice there's a little hatch on the top of it, and it looks like it could be something you go down. You're not getting any sort of weird vibes or anything.
I sneak up to it and peer down the hole, and...
The hatch is closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I pull out my sword and poke the hatch.
You poke the hatch?
Yeah.
It jiggles underneath your sword's press.
I think She, as a precautionary measure, she stamps on the box to make try to make a clanging sound on the box to see if anything moves.
Oh, okay. So you slam your foot down, loud clang noise, and nothing seems to happen. Some stuff maybe like crackles down. It feels really old.
Yeah.
Yep.
She sheathes her sword and pulls open the hatch, or tries to.
Okay. Go ahead and you go to try to pull open the hatch. It appears to be stuck. You're going to need to pry it open with strength or figure out a different way to get this open.
Knowing, would that be an athletics or a strength check?
I would do athletics.
Okay, she's going to try to pry it open because her athletics is way better than her strength.
Okay. Yeah, so you go ahead and you get low, get your legs bent, and you go to pry it open.
Also terrible. Another 7.
Another 7. You can't quite do it. You're prying, it's squeaking, and Flibbit's like, you need my help? What's going on?
I'm trying to get a hatch open.
Okay, hold on. And he unclips and he comes over and he will give you guidance. So you get a D4 to try again.
Yay.
I can help you too. Let's do this thing.
And he reaches over and he gives you the powers of...
Oh.
Yep.
Thank you. Because that was much better. A 21 instead of a 9.
A 21. Awesome. You finally crack it open and you are able to...
wait. That's not a 21. That's a... I don't know if it matters. Probably doesn't. But that's a 23.
Oh, nice. You go ahead and finally pry it open. Loud thud. And as you pry it open, you peer down inside. There's just a bunch of rusty parts. Just totally ruined. The whole bottom of this box thing. Totally gone. But sitting there in the pile is a small little, probably 2-foot long rod in there. It's kind of shining on top of the box. That's kind of what you see.
On top of the box or in the box?
I'm sorry, on top of the rubble at the bottom.
Like, and the entire bottom of the box
is...
the
elevator.
Okay.
So you'd have to hop down to get to it.
I think Kea looks at Flibbit,
Yeah.
holds up her hand,
Okay.
and says, "Stay here," and turns around, hangs from the top of the elevator, and drops down.
Okay. You go down and you look a little closer, and now you see that this thing has like a handle, almost like a sword or a dagger, but then the rest of the rod is like clear plastic almost.
She picks it up.
Okay, you pick it up, and your hand accidentally presses a little button, and the whole thing goes... and the laser sword toy turns on.
A lightsaber toy?
Basically.
Wow.
Turns on. And as you do that, you accidentally, flinch back, and it touches the ground, and a flower grows. And this is a laser sword of flowers. So basically, it's like the staff of flowers. You have 10 charges per day. And you can cause a flower to grow.
Wait, so do I have 9 charges? Because
you have 9 charges left now, but it's 1 per day. Or wait, no, sorry, not per day.
Terrible.
Oh wait, yeah. Per day. So you have the laser sword of flowers now.
Wow.
And
she searches around to turn it off.
Yep, you're able to turn it off. The green and blue glow disappears.
Wait,
but
is
you
it a
accidentally
double
press
lightsaber?
No, it just like it switches from green to blue, and then it like starts making a whole bunch of awful noises and beeps, and you have to press it like 3 times before you figure out which button is the off button.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. You're able to hop back on your bike.
Wow. I pick the flower.
Okay.
And examine it. Is it a...
It is a mild scented daisy.
Very specific.
Well, because the item says, and I quote, "Unless you choose a specific kind of flower, the staff creates a mild scented daisy." The flower is harmless and non-magical, and it grows or withers as a normal flower would.
Okay. She picks it up and hops up back to the top of the elevator with it.
What'd you get?
She pulls out the... What was it called?
I called it the laser sword of flowers.
She pulls out the laser sword of flowers and says, this thing, I think it lights up, and I think it makes flowers grow, maybe?
Whoa, cool. Can we try it?
I did. And she holds out the flower.
Whoa, that's fascinating. Perhaps we could decorate the moto wheeler.
May I have it attached like a bike, attached like a little basket of flowers
There
to it. She nods and maybe tries to, like, how flexible is the stem of this mild scented daisy?
I mean, it's a flower, so.
Ow! Would it be possible to, like, tie it around one of the handles?
Sure, I would allow that. Or you could use some string or something, yeah.
Yeah, I think she does that and, like, ties it around
Go ahead.
one of the handles.
Okay.
So it's begun to get decorated.
Okay.
Beginning to get-
You have begun to start decorating your moto wheeler, and you are able to hop back on, or we'll say that you camp for the night. It was just one encounter per day.
Yeah.
We say you camp for the night on the beach. You come to the spot, kind of get up into some cliffs now. It's not really, for the time being, it's not really like sandy beaches down by the ocean. It's cliffs, and you're up high, 100 feet up, looking down on the ocean. And again, this road is just taking you right along the shoreline. Beautiful birds flying overhead, smells of the salty air, kind of the pleasantness of the waves crashing against the rocks. You're able to fall asleep, go to bed pretty easily. Flibbit's like, wow, you're a loud story. And then a few minutes later, he's like, wait. Like he does.
Mm-hmm. Dreaming, having nightmares about ice cream, maybe?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to do this evening, or we'll continue on?
Continue on
All
with
right.
the stealth, or laser sword of flowers.
Yeah, you can, any time you want to use any more throughout the day, you can
Um,
use almost all the charges without it going bad.
I think she, as another, what would Kea's favorite flower be? I think she uses it to grow a sunflower. And how tall would the sunflower be? Because sunflowers are like ridiculously tall.
We'll say this
usually.
one's like 2 feet.
Okay. She thinks of an idea and says, wait, I have an idea. And for other vehicles on the road, she tries to stick the sunflower up in such a way that on top of her motor wheeler that it acts like a little
Like a safety flag?
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So is that at the back or the front?
The back.
Okay, so right behind the blender, you stick a 3 foot tall sunflower. We'll say it's 3 feet tall sunflower that sits up there. And as you start moving on with the bike, it sits there and blows in the breeze behind you, warning everyone else that you are on the road so I can see you from a distance. Beautiful.
Sunflowers can be bright. I
Yeah,
mean,
I like it. Okay, then. That was good. You are able to keep moving along with the moto wheeler. I forgot to do this earlier, but you kind of get off of the normal road after a couple hours this morning, and you start wheeling through sand. The road, it's not like soft sand, but you know it's dirt, stone, and then sections of sand. And it's starting to get hotter. The day is starting to get nice and sunny.
like the type of sand you'd find at when you go to like a public beach or something, and there's like a dirt trail leading up to it. There's always patches of sand.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
idea. So you have to slow down a little bit. You're not making as much good time. You kind of come along this one area where the sand disappears and it's very dried and cracked, old kind of sandstone, that sort of idea. And the bike even more has to kind of slow down a little bit. It's not great for riding this road moto wheeler on.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're speeding along, going, at a decent clip, and your wheel hits a weird section and it starts wobbling, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
As I go into a speed wobble.
You do have kind of a wobble.
Wow.
Just a little bit, but I'm just curious to see because there's some potential.
17.
All right, so the wheel starts wobbling, and you have to slow way down, and you kind of rewrite it, and you are able to hold on. Just as you are.
17 was just barely.
It was for
Oh,
that
wow.
situation. But as you are making your way, after you fix that wheel wobble, you kind of maybe your heart was beating for a second. And Flibbit's like, oh, nice catch. That could have been bad.
Thank you.
We would have had to roll on the mishap table. Sorry.
And then all of a sudden, you hear, kind of ahead of you, down the road, really, really loud, "Ooh," cheering and applause from like a big crowd of people.
Okay, I was about to think that a wild magic storm had popped up and another one of those like
No, this
cheering
feels
portals
like
had come
real
up.
people.
Okay.
And you crest over a hill, and you are able to see down from this hill, down it goes, to a very, very beautiful sandy beach, turquoisey waters, waves lapping against the shore, and a bunch of little beach huts.
A bunch of beach huts?
Mhm.
Like,
And timing-wise, you're thinking maybe this might be Bramblebeach.
and they're cheering? Can I
You can make a perception check.
Yeah, I want to see what they're cheering at. 18.
18. I will say you can't really tell what they're cheering at. You're still kind of too far away, but what you do see is quite a few beach huts, like in a cluster, almost like a village. Not much bigger than Map's Edge. It's a smaller village, right? But then a lot of huge area of beach, and there's just a lot of people. You can't really tell who or what they are or anything going on from here, but you can see that there are a lot of people, and they appear to be cheering towards the beaches, that kind of thing. They're on the beach, but they're cheering like towards the water. And there's a couple people separated from everybody else. That's kind of what you can tell. You can also see with that perception check that the tracks for Czar's vehicle head down into this way. He cut through a section of wet sand, and you can see that, but you don't see the vehicle currently.
Okay.
You think he's probably about a day ahead of you based on your rest.
I think she stops the motor wheeler again and looks down. Would you have seen any, like, sports?
It wouldn't have been anything official. It probably is like just games amongst rummagers.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
scrap ball, we'll call it, where somebody had a past world tech item that was basically like an old motorcycle helmet that was rounded into a ball that you guys like threw at scrap piles to see who could knock the most rust bucket things off. That's scrap ball.
Throw a rounded object into a bucket on a scrap pile and see if you can make it in.
Yep, basically. And so I would say not anything organized like this, no. You've seen events now at Athon with a lot of people at Athon. This isn't like quite in comparison to that, but they sure are all clustered together and all a part of this cheering thing.
She stops the motor wheeler and looks down and says, I think Czar went this way. Should we go down? It seems exciting.
It seems like there's something exciting going on. You know me, I like to explore new areas.
Yes, I finally taught you how to have fun.
I have been learning. It's been quite nice. We should try more things.
Agreed.
But we are going to have to rest anyway for the night, so we could just make that happen here in this place.
Yeah, see if they have an inn.
Yeah. So you start also seeing too, it's like midday.
Mhm.
It's pretty hot. So anyway, what do you want to do?
She unbuckles Flibbit, and
Well, it's still down the hill quite a way. You could moto.
oh yeah. Wait, is it possible to ride down, or do I have to walk it?
No, you were just on a hill looking down towards town.
Okay.
You could still, it's probably 10 minutes, but you could ride the motor wheeler into town.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take the motor wheeler and you guys zoom down into town. So as you roll in, you are starting to see, it's a big open, it's just beach.
Yeah.
But you see this big archway above the road, and it says, "Welcome to Bramblebeach." And then underneath that,
Oh no.
on
Is it Carl?
it's not Carl. Underneath that, in a banner that's temporary, it says "Sandscrape Day. Come join the competition." And
what?
as you roll in, there are a lot of people here on this beach. And there are kids playing in the water. There's people swimming. There's all sorts of like vendor cooked food outside. There's music playing. It's just a chaos of a lot of people. There's not anything specifically happening that you can see, except periodically everybody will stop and turn towards something in the background and cheer with excitement and clap.
I look towards the something in the background and see if I can go. I go up as close as I dare to the water's edge, which is not that far. Because she's a
The
cat.
waves gently lapping towards the shore, towards you. Nice, beautiful water.
Yeah, she's just like glaring at the waves, and tries to see what they're looking at.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception or investigation check.
My perception is better, but I'm also investigating things.
It's up. Yeah, let's do investigation.
Absolutely terrible. A 6.
Okay, so you see something, you almost think you can see what's going on, and then a person steps in front of your viewpoint. Blocking your view is this young turtle, and she's wearing like a sundress, and she has her shell painted with bright, vibrant colors. And she gets in front of your view, and she goes, "Hi, you must be new to town. I'm Tava."
What in the world?
Yep, and
Tava?
you see a name tag on her dress that says Tava, and it says welcomer.
I look at the name tag and kind of like raise my eyebrow at it, and then look back up at her and say, yeah, I'm new to town.
Well, you have come on the most amazing day ever to visit Bramblebeach.
And what is the amazing day?
It's Sandscrape Day! And she puts her hands up and wiggles them in the air, jazz hands style.
And what is that? I'm sorry, I've never been to Bramble.
You've never been? Yo, it is just the best holiday. Well, guess what? I'm going to show you around. I'm supposed to welcome people, and that is what Tava is going to do.
Okay.
And she reaches out her hand to shake your hand. What's your name?
Kea.
Nice to meet you, Kea. I'm Tava. I said that already.
Yep, you did.
Welcome to Sandscrape Day, a day of excitement, fun, and the most interesting competition you've ever seen. And who's your friend?
That's Flibbit. He's a flump.
I am a flump. Nice to meet you, madam. And he bows his head. And Tava goes, I'm so excited to show you guys everything. Come, follow me. We are going to look at it all. You can park your bike over there. What is that, by the way?
It's called a moto wheeler.
Fascinating.
Does it? Do I need to like secure it or?
Oh no, Bramblebeach is one of the most safest towns in the whole wide land. I don't even lock my door at night.
Kea looks at her, looks at Flibbit, looks at her again, and is thinking in her head, okay.
Yep. Come on. We don't have all day.
Okay. Yep, sure.
Okay, and you start following Tava, the welcomer, into Bramblebeach. There are so many people here, and there's some wonderful, like, barbecue-y type smells going on and all that. And Tava starts talking to you as you guys come along.
Any fish?
There's probably fish for sure. We'll say that you could swing by a food booth at any point if you want.
Yay.
And Tava goes, welcome to Bramblebeach. Our humble town has been here for not very long, only about 30 years. But we have just the most fun every day. You surf, relax by the beach. It's wonderful. But today is especially wonderful because it's Sandscrape Day. She does the same thing again. And we are celebrating the anniversary of the Bramblebeach Scramble.
Which is?
22 years ago, there was a crazy attack from scrapers.
Oh.
Some sort of wild magic storm had appeared, and all the scrapers in town kicked us all out of town, and we had to go on the run. But all the townsfolk decided to gather up together, even though we weren't rummagers or even though we weren't fighters, and we fought back those scrapers, and we barricaded them in the underground subway system. We took back our town.
What's a subway system?
Oh, you've never seen a subway?
No.
It is a past world thing where they used to take basically like your bike thing, but with a lot of people, and they could zoom them around all the way around underground.
Cool.
It was Very cool. None of them work anymore. Regardless, every year we celebrate Sandscrape Day because it was the day that our parents, or even some of us, participated in the fight to bring back Bramblebeach.
Isn't it dangerous to have a bunch of scrapers just barricaded down there? I mean, I get that they're barricaded, but...
Oh, I don't know. We keep watch on it constantly, and we've never had a problem. It's been 22 years.
I suppose that's true.
And Sandscrape Day is especially awesome because it houses the most impressive Sandscrape competition in the land.
What's the competition? And as Kea thinks of the activities that she relates to beaches, and she's probably only heard stories about beaches from, like, Gunther, she immediately thinks of swimming, which she wouldn't do, or looking for fancy seashells, or building a sandcastle.
Well, guess what? It's number 3. We don't call them sandcastles here, though. We call them sandscrapes. And
that makes sense.
And everyone's can sign up and join in the Sandscrape making competition.
And whoever makes the best Sandscrape wins?
Yep, and there's a prize for the winner. She does her jazz hands again. Right now, we're seeing some of the old competitors from last year. And she guides you over past a couple of these beach huts, and you guys kind of have this crowd that's murmuring, and then a big cheer goes up again. Woo! And then you kind of break through the crowd. Tava pushes people out of the way. You break through, and you start seeing these really, really amazing Sandscrape constructions. People only using sand and water have made, like, tall skyscrapers that are, like, 6 feet tall. And some of them are, like, crazy arenas. And there's just any sort of, like, past world thing you can imagine people are making out of sand.
Is there a subway system?
Like someone has made one?
Yeah.
No.
Darn.
But she leads you over and she says, and these are some of the contestants from last couple of years who have won. They get to come show off a new creation, but then there's sign-ups for everybody else. If you want to participate, you can sign right up to be in the Sandscrape competition.
That sounds interesting. I have no experience whatsoever, but...
It's great. You can see all the tools, and she points to a tool shed, and there's all sorts of, like, shovels, buckets, crazy amounts of everything that everybody's sharing. And then all you can use is water and sand. Nothing else. You got to be finished by sundown, and each scrape must be at least 2 feet tall.
That's very tall.
It's quite tall. This shows you that you know how to build these things. Flibbit turns to you and he leans into your ear and he goes, I would like to participate.
I think that's a good idea.
Should we team up or should we go separate?
Team up?
And she goes, actually, you will have to go separate.
Oh, it's
individual competition.
I look to Flibbit and say, you on?
Let's do it. And she, maybe goes and gets you guys some baked food, some fish for you, and like basically a past world elsewhere corn dog for Flibbit.
Corn dog?
Yeah, corn dog. We'll call it but they're called sand meats. Sometimes I'm not super creative.
I was about to say sand dog sounds kind of gross.
It does sound kind of gross. I don't think anybody wants that. That's when you drop your sand meat in the sand. You got a sand dog. All right. And so yeah, she guides you over. She says, also, there's going to be a huge beachside feast tonight for everybody in town. I could show you after the competition or before. I can show you where the barricade was, where we push back all the scrapers, and yeah.
You seem to know a lot about the history of this town.
I've lived here my whole life. My father helped push back those scrapers.
Ah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
How? Maybe if you can show me afterward, after the competition.
Yeah, sounds awesome. So you gonna go sign up? I signed up, dude.
Oh, you did?
I did. I'm going to build the most amazing scrape this year. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it works out.
I give her a little applause.
Okay. And she goes, all right, well, I'll meet you after the competition. So do you want to do this Sandscrape competition? Cool. You start doing your thing, and you go over, you sign up. There's a lady there who gets you all set up. And she basically, it's like, follow rules. You can only use water. You can use those tools.
Okay.
No glue.
That
No magic items.
makes sense.
No trickery. We are keeping a close eye on all contestants.
What race is this lady?
She's a halfling.
I think I just give her like a side eye and say, yep, okay, and sign the little thing.
And she's very hesitant to give Flibbit a sign-up sheet. She's like, what are you? He's like, I am a fluff. And she's like, okay, I think to make it fair, you can only use 2 tentacles. And he says, completely understandable. I would be at an unfair advantage because of my dexterous abilities.
I'm dexterous.
Not at sandscraping.
don't-
Competition.
You don't know.
I suppose we'll see one way that he turns and floats away, but keeps one eye stalk looking at you the whole time as he floats away.
Right, because he can rotate them.
That's right. And this is basically a performance check off type of thing.
Performance.
So we're going to be
check-off.
doing, well, there's a couple different roles. We're going to do 3 different roles, and this is basically going to be you telling me what kind of scrape you build, and then we're going to roll for it. So, what is your plan for your scrape competition? You doing the subway thing that you mentioned, or something else?
No, she's going to build her local scrape.
Okay.
She's going to try and build the scrape as it was. Maybe, if it's possible, she is going to try and make a little dent in the side and maybe like make a little hole in there to represent the little room on the 9th floor.
Nice.
Or wait, was it on the...
I think it was the 8th floor.
It was the 8th floor. Yeah, no. There is a hole that I looked out of that was on like the 4th floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the 4th floor,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to do that. And then maybe she's going to like try and build like little windows, like little
Okay.
indents.
Let's start it out with a, we'll call this one a performance check.
Terrible.
And you're going to be rolling against Flibbit. Flibbit starts making a very, very elaborate, the beginnings of it anyway, of coaster chaos. And that's place. Okay, ready? And we'll say that you look over and Tava's there and she's making like an arena looking thing.
Oh.
So that's the beginning.
Cool.
All right, here we go. Ready? There's also a couple other people. There's a gnome, there's a bugbear, and there's a tabaxi participating as well.
Hey.
An old lady tabaxi.
Okay.
All right, what'd you get?
A 2.
A 2. Okay, unfortunately, you haven't really worked with sand before, and so it's a little weird. So you started out, and the base of the scrape is not looking very good. And you're starting to get a little bit worried about that.
Okay.
But you look over, and Flibbits doesn't look that much better than you. He rolled 4. Did you add your thing, too?
I have a +0.
Okay. So now you start going along a little bit further. You start getting the scrape right. You're trying to get detailed with it and all that. I'm going to say, why don't you do a sleight of hand check as you start trying to add the hole and the windows and these other things. Ooh, Flibbit did bad.
A 11.
Okay. You feel like it's getting a little better, and then you look over, and Flibbits is like crumbled partway
Oh no.
through because he got a nat 1. And then also Tava's is, you're feeling pretty confident as you look because everyone's not doing that great. You look down, and we'll say that the other tabaxi, the older tabaxi grandma lady, she's looking pretty good. She's building like some sort of skyscraper building too.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and then the final roll here, you're trying to go and finish it off. You get to the top. You're trying to get the top of the building correct. Maybe the little spot where the Scrayclops, was able to climb into the 8th floor, all that.
Yeah.
You had the crazy stuff going on. You're trying to get the breakdown exactly correct. One last performance check. Or sleight of hand. I'll let you choose.
I'm going to do sleight of hand. 14.
14. Okay. You kind of finish it, right?
Mhm.
And it's looking pretty good. So you finish it off. You're feeling pretty good about it. And you look over, and Flibbit's whole creation that he was working on of Coaster Chaos, it was a great idea, except there's a lot of like circles that he was trying to make that didn't work out. So it's kind of looks like it was broken down. Teva's arena thing looks decent. And then you look down the line and everybody's just kind of normal-ish, except for Tabaxi Grandma, who rolled a 14, an 18, and then a 19.
Wow.
So you look over, and she's got this tall skyscraper, and it is immaculate. It is beautiful. And you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And finally, the sun starts setting down, and Teva comes over, and she's like, that is wonderful. You are a natural.
Thank you. I based it off my local scrape.
Oh, that's great. It's such a wonder to have people come celebrate Sandscrape Day. The Bramblebeach Scramble was not great, but it's so great that we've been able to build a town and thrive.
It seems like you're thriving.
Yeah. Anyway, judging's not till later. Do you want to go explore some more?
Sure.
Okay. I'll take you to where we barricaded all them scrapers. It's kind of a little bit of a tourist attraction.
Scrapers are tours?
Well, the barricade.
Okay.
And so you go over you walk down the beach a little bit and you see the big mound of what looks like sand, but then the front side of it, you see that there was tracks going into it.
Oh.
And it goes down into this tunnel. But there is just this wall of stuff, like beach hut, surfboard looking things, crazy amounts of things that they clearly barricaded this in and just piled it on, and it looks like it's just hundreds and dozens of stuff.
Hundreds and dozens.
Yep, hundreds and dozens of things piled up there on the deal.
And it's like inside the tunnel or over the tunnel?
Over the outside of the tunnel.
Ah.
And there's kids playing on it, and there's people looking at it, and there's a lot of conversation happening, and it looks like it's been like that for a long time.
I go up to it.
Okay.
And lean my face in very close and squint at it. I want to see how, without touching it and possibly endangering it, I want to figure out how, try to see if I can figure out how, stable this looks.
Okay. Go ahead and make I guess investigation is probably better.
Yeah.
And I'll say Flibbit comes over to it. He goes, you're trying to see if it's
if it's sturdy, like this.
I'll roll
doesn't...
too. I'm also curious. It does kind of freak me out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
6.
Flibbit. You get a 6. You're starting to look at it, but you are spending more time there's a kid nearby playing, and he keeps running over to you going, hee hee hee. And then he pulls on your cloak and runs away, and he's being kind of annoying.
I raised my eyebrow at him.
Flibbit's like, Kea, pay attention. Kea, go ahead.
What?
Kea, look. And he shows you, and he rolled an 18.
Oh, wow.
He looks at it, he's like, this isn't super stable looking. It kind of looks like the base layer. There's a lot of soft stuff, and then they started throwing a bunch of heavy stuff on top. Can you make a perception check for me?
13?
13? You're kind of looking at what Flibbit's talking about, and then you kind of hear a loud, distant but loud thud. And Teva goes, ooh.
Kea jumps.
Yep. And Teva goes, yep. We can still hear them in there sometimes. I wonder what they're doing.
You let kids play on this thing, and yet you can still hear the scrapers?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's been 22 years. We barricaded it so good. We still add stuff, and she points over, and there's a couple guys standing there on guard.
Okay. I think I look down at the bottom and say, why is there soft stuff on the bottom instead of the top? Shouldn't, common sense says heavy things should go on the bottom.
Well, sure. But, I mean, I was a kid when it happened, but my parents, everybody just grabbed whatever they could, and we just piled it on here to keep them stuck in there. We even, tore down some old huts to throw on there, and it was just whatever we could to keep them in there at bay while we were able to barricade them. So it's kind of everything.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts about how safe this is? I mean, I can see that there's guards, and I'm not.
Teva?
Yeah.
And she's like, I've lived here my whole life. I think it's wonderfully safe, and it's like character of the town. What could go wrong.
I whisper to Flibbit and say, famous last words.
I agree. And then about that time, a conch shell goes off.
There's a conch shell right there.
That's true. I could blow on it. There we go.
Perfect.
A conch shell goes off, and everybody cheers in excitement. And you look, and it looks as though the judging is going to begin. And so
Kea rushes over.
Yeah, Tava rushes over too, and she says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, so excited!" And you see this like very, very intense looking, very tall Goliath,
Oh.
big, muscular person, tiny little spectacles on his face, even though he's like 7.5 feet tall, tattoos on his body, wearing a vest.
The types of thing. Wait. The type of guy who's like looks tall and scary, and then he has this tiny little monocle, like spectacles. Boop, boop.
And he goes, and everyone goes, or actually I'll say Tava goes, "All right, everybody, hush down. We are about to start the judging for this year's competition. As you know, our previous champion for a decade, Judge Gromlin, is here to judge the winners." And he just looks around and he just nods and pulls out a clipboard and starts walking around. There's a hushed silence. And is there anything you want to do
A Goliath?
to jazz up your thing before he gets to yours? He starts over with the gnome that you saw. The gnome building like a crazy, cityscape. So he's doing.
I think
Flibbit's there too.
Kea quickly, if she has time, tries to make, maybe. Oh yes, that's perfect. She pulls out the sword,
The laser sword.
the laser sword
Okay.
of flowers, and turns it on and pokes the ground.
Okay. So you turn it on, pokes the ground, and what kind of flowers start growing up? You can use it as much as you want.
What grows out of the ground?
I mean, it can be any type of flower. It doesn't have to be specific to the area.
There's beach flowers,
Yeah.
right? The little
yeah.
succulent plants that you sometimes see on
those
beaches.
little,
Like
beach
those.
flowers. Okay. Yeah, and like this tropical, like hibiscus
Yeah.
kind of thing. Okay. So you start
But short.
peppering the outside with flowers. The judge goes over to this bugbear, another big guy who built something that looks terrible, looks like it fell apart, and they just kind of nod at each other, and the judge writes it down on his little thing. He goes over to the other tabaxi, this grandma tabaxi. She's all white-haired, you can tell it's from age. She's got the whiskers, white whiskers and everything, and she's standing there very rigid, and her arms behind her back, like she is waiting for it, and it's the only time the Judge Gromlin speaks. He goes, "Bernice Gromlin." And they nod at each other, and he looks hers over. Hers is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Can you describe to me what it looks like?
hers?
Yeah.
It looks kind of like yours in a way. It's just a single skyscraper building, right?
Yeah.
But there's somehow like antennas sticking off of it. There's like a balcony. You see a little person. She rolled really well. She knows what she's doing. And you probably see now as she's standing there, she probably has a ribbon from like a past year win or second place or something like that. And she's upped her game. She is just older tabaxi, wearing like a apron to cover up her sand work. And she's got, a kind of sandy blouse underneath. Comes over to Flibbit's. Flibbit goes, I have created a roller coaster place called... And the judge is like, "Quiet, please. I like to judge without input." And Flibbit's like, "I'm sorry. And he judges Flibbit's. He goes past Tava's, gives Tava a nod. "Thank you for putting on the event. Of course, I love Sandscrape." And then he gets to yours. Can you please roll for me one last performance check? We're going performance, though. You added flowers. You made it pretty.
My first good performance roll, a 17.
A 17. He looks it over, and then he walks around it a little bit, and he nods again. And he goes, on the thing.
She is She's also, she's like hands in front of her, probably just like.
Very nervous.
Yeah.
Okay. And Judge Gromlin puts all of his stuff away, and he goes and stands up on a podium. Tava gets up in front of everyone, and she goes, okay, now, I'm biased because I was a part of it, so I can't be a judge this year, and I won't be announcing it. We'll leave it up to Judge Gromlin. But now we will announce the winner of the event. And everyone starts cheering and clapping, and then there's that hushed quiet. Judge Gromlin looks out across the crowd. Third place, Tava. Tava goes, oh my gosh, that's Scrap Day. And she starts getting so excited. And she runs up and they give her like a pouch of gold.
Yeah.
Clips. Second place, new entrant, Kea, the Tabaxi.
Kea's just like shoulders start hunching up, and I think she steps away from her sandscrape a little bit, and tail starts going through.
Yep. And he holds out a bag for you to come receive.
I go up and
You grab it. He says, good work for the newcomer.
thank you.
And everybody cheers. And he goes, unsurprisingly, first place, Bernice. And Bernice, the grandma tabaxi, nods to everyone, goes up and accepts her. It's like a chest.
Mm.
And she looks out amongst the crowd and she said, happy Sandscrape Day. I will see you next year. And then she leaves.
Like some people in this town are overly are overly excitable, namely Tava,
Yeah.
and two other people in this town are overly unexcitable,
Yeah.
namely Register Lady and Bernice.
Yep. And Bernice, you probably see too, Bernice like bows her head a little bit and then goes off and sits next to her Sandscrape.
Yeah.
So you open up your bag,
Mhm.
and inside is a weird little tube. It's like a tube that has like a J shape to it, and there is a mouth guard on it. Weirdly,
Haha.
almost looks like you could put your mouth on the mouth guard and then breathe through the tube. Almost like a snorkel of sorts.
A snorkel? So surprising.
And there's a little card in there that says Past World Tech Snorkel. There's a little thing that says allows you to breathe underwater for 1 hour each day. Yep.
Nice.
And Flibbit goes,
That was wonderful. I thought mine was pretty good, but I'm glad you won something, Kea. That's pretty great.
Thank you.
and then Tava gets up in front of the stage and she goes, all right, everybody, now it's time for the feast. And everybody cheers with excitement.
I also go, woo.
Yep, and you guys have this amazing feast of barbecued fish and barbecued everything, and there's dessert, and it's wonderful. And at the end of the feast, Tava comes over to you and she goes, are you ready? I'm so excited. We are about to do a first for the Scramble for Sandscrape Day.
Oh?
Yeah, we haven't ever had them here before, but I'm pretty excited.
What's
Fireworks.
fire? Are they like? Is that like a you
You'll
do
see.
stuff with fire?
Yeah, you'll see. Ready?
Okay.
And everybody looks out on the beach, and there's a guy on like a little boat, 100 feet offshore. And everyone starts counting down like it's New Year's. 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And then amazing fireworks start shooting up in the air. Colors you've never seen before, purples and greens and blues, big bangs and booms, and sparkles
Bog
falling
booms?
down. Yeah, and probably a lot of them are made with bog bloom flowers. And you start seeing these explosions. And then you see the crowd. Everybody's cheering and excited, and everybody's kind of doing their thing. And then you see a wave come, and the boat kind of rocks like this, and you see one of the tubes topple over. And the guy on the boat suddenly jumps off of the ship, and the tube goes thump, and it fires and collides with the barricade by the beach as this huge firework explosion explodes, and everyone goes, and all of a sudden, one of the pieces of the barricade falls down to the ground, and another piece of the barricade falls down to the ground, and Tava goes, That's not good.
And
I say, I told you that wasn't safe.
and then bursting forth from the barricade, 22-year-old scrapers emerge onto Bramblebeach. And that's where we're going to end our episode. Alrighty then. Next time you'll have to fight beach scrapers.
Beach scrapers.
Yep. I think every piece of media in the world ever has got to have a beach episode.
Yeah.
So we're doing our beach episode. All right. Thank you all for joining in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this silly little excursion into Bramblebeach and the Bramble Scramble.
And Sandscrape Day.
Sandscrape Day. Taylor's so excited now. She's terrified. All right.
She probably still does jazz hands like, I'm terrified.
Holding her hands up, wiggling them in fear.
Yeah.
It's a defensive gesture. All right. Thank you all for listening. Give us a follow, like us on all the social medias. Leave us a review, all that sort of fun stuff. Comments, yes. That would be wonderful.
Comments, questions, emails, thingies.
Everything. All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time on
Dadventurous Beach Edition.